right. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. I see people are still trickling in. So thanks for joining us today for another edition of Nutrition at Noon. I'm Melanie Burdick. I am one of the nutritionists at Giant, and I am based in the Howard County area, right in Ellicott City. And today we are going to talk all about air fryers. And I'm super excited to talk to you guys about this because this is a new little gadget that I've been trying for the last couple of weeks in preparation for this webinar. We had a special request. So I apologize if I sound like a commercial, but I really love it. So hopefully after today, you guys are inspired and maybe can try something fun and new while we're cooking at home. So before we get into the details, just know that you are muted, so I can't hear your dog barking or any background noise, and your cameras are turned off, so I can't see you. If you have any questions, at the bottom of the screen, click the Q&A tab, and then we'll get to all those questions at the end. All right, so let's get started. All right, so air frying. So the first time I heard about this was actually about a year ago. I was doing a consult with a customer and we were talking about how she was cooking her chicken at home and she mentioned air frying. And I thought, what in the world is this? It sounded a little odd to me and I was a little perplexed. But as we talked about it, I learned a little bit more and actually learned a lot from this customer and learned a fun new way to cook things. So the air fryer, what is it? So I know frying, we think of like that deep frying of items, you know, in a fast food restaurant at home, maybe the Fry Daddy, maybe some of us have been familiar with in the past. But an air fryer is actually more of an air cooking machine. So that's one way to think about it. It's actually a countertop convection oven. So it's a small, compact unit, about the size of your coffee pot. And what it does, it circulates air around your foods. So it's very, very hot, 300 to 400 degrees. And in 20 minutes, you get that crispy outer layer, but then on the inside, it's nice and soft, just like your fried foods that we all love. So that's what you want to think about. So really just a mini convection oven. And the wonderful thing about air frying, even though we hear frying, and I still can't really wrap my head around the frying term, but you can use minimal or no oil during your cooking. And that is a win-win. So that's air frying 101. Now, the biggest question that I get as a dietitian, when people ask about air frying, they say, is it healthy? So when I first heard about these, I had to do some research because as a dietitian, I'm constantly learning things. Even after a decade of being in the profession, I'm still learning things on a daily basis. So I had to do some research to find out. But when you think about frying, think about the amount of oil that's used. Everything is deep fried, and you might use several cups of oil. So that's going to cause that food to be saturated. With an air fryer, you're using maybe a tablespoon of that for your food. So there's really a significant difference. So roughly with air frying, when you compare to deep fried to an air fried product, you're cutting the calories by about 3/4. So that's a significant amount. You're also going to cut that saturated fat as well too. So it definitely can help you cook healthier meals at home. Biggest thing you want to pay attention to is the types of foods that you're cooking. So if we're doing things that maybe are breaded or packaged, we want to be mindful of the saturated fat content in those items and then also the amount of oil that we're adding. So we can enjoy some of our favorite things like chicken wings, French fries, tater tots, and maybe we use less oil and maybe not have them as frequently. So the wonderful thing I love about the air fryer is that you can cook a lot of whole, lean foods in the fryer. And we're going to get into some of those items in a second. So that way you can have a wonderful balanced meal that's quick and easy and tastes fabulous. All right, so picking your perfect air fryer. So about 2 weeks ago, after we got this request for this presentation, I was so curious about this. I went out and I bought an air fryer. So I bought one that feeds about 2 people. And there are so many varieties out there. If you're curious, you can spend hours researching these on the internet. So they come in a variety of different sizes and gadgets and gizmos and attachments. A couple of days ago, we had Emily, our other nutritionist, talking about the Instant Pot, and you can actually get an air fryer attachment. So there's literally something for everyone. But the biggest thing you want to think about when you're picking an air fryer is, how do I like to cook? What am I going to cook? And how many people do I have to serve? In my house, I have 2 people. So I picked up a 2-liter size air fryer. And you can see here that the pan that you're using in is small. You have enough for maybe 1 or 2 servings for a meal, but not a whole lot more. So if you have a family, maybe several children, or you're cooking for a big group, maybe getting a larger one. And I'm actually very jealous. My colleague Mandy, I'm going to shout out to her. She bought an air fryer that was about 5-6 liters size, because I kept talking about how much fun I was having with the air fryer. And I'm really jealous because she can cook really, really big meals and have leftovers. So definitely do your research, see what works for you and your family. They all have very similar features, but just think about how much you want to cook. If you're curious about learning more, America's Test Kitchen has a great resource for different things to look for, and they tested them out. Also consumer reports too. So if you're interested in finding one, check those out. And I wish I had looked at those before I bought mine. All right, so now we know what air frying is all about. We've talked about the health benefits. The next big question, what are we going to cook in it? What can you cook in an air fryer? Well, think of your air fryer again as a mini convection oven. So what you can put in your oven or what you can microwave, you can pretty much cook in your air fryer, which is pretty darn cool, actually. So lots of different things. Of course, we can do our lean meats with chicken or fish. Wonderful. You can add just a little bit of olive oil or avocado oil to kind of give that little sizzle and crispiness. Lots of things. You can even do your meats or your other items completely frozen, which is one of the things that I love about this little gadget. You don't have to spend a whole lot of time prepping. So you can throw in your frozen chicken breast, you can throw in your frozen vegetables. I love our Giant brand medley of veggies. It's a staple in my house. I just throw them in and season, and we're ready to go. And it's done in about 20 minutes. You can do your veggies, you can do fresh, frozen, or canned. You can also do fun things like roasted chickpeas. These are another big favorite in my house. I just took some of our Giant brand chickpeas, coated them in some spices, and you have a crunchy little snack that's super inexpensive. Other things you can do your own little pizzas, you can do English muffin pizzas, or your own little pan-sized pizzas in your air fryer. And so you can have a little lunch or dinner, and this is fun, you can get the kids involved too. So there are so many things that you can make in your air fryer. Other things, baked goods. You can make a cake, you can make muffins, you can make cookies in your air fryer. So it's pretty fun. It's fun to kind of experiment and see what you can do. I'm still working on it. And one thing you can also do is buy accessories for your air fryer so you can cook small cakes or muffins, you name it. One thing that I learned just a few days ago, if you're a popcorn fan and you don't have an air popper, you can actually make popcorn in your air fryer. Pretty cool. So there are so many things that you can cook in your fryer. Now, a couple things you may not want to cook in your air fryer. So things that have a wet batter. So I know when we think about fried foods, really that wet batter, it's not going to have enough time to stick and crisp, and it may drip to the bottom of the air fryer. So definitely if you want to do something that's a breaded chicken or fish, use a recipe that is made for the air fryer. Other things too, if you want to make things like leafy greens, they can fly around like a tornado in your air fryer. So definitely if you want to make roasted or kale chips, use your oven for that. And then other things, maybe cheese or things that have a lot of cheese in them, they can melt and cause a little bit of a mess. So definitely there's some things that you want to be cautious with when you're using your air fryer. All right, and lastly, a couple things that can really help you make a fabulous meal at home. Just like your oven, you just want to preheat just about 2 or 3 minutes. That way things are ready to go and it really makes that cooking time optimal. Another thing too, don't overfill your basket. So we want to make sure that when it's cooking, you're getting airflow around all your items and they can crisp up. So when I made these Brussels sprouts, I wanted to make sure that I had enough room in the pan. That way I could get them really crispy the way I like them. And then halfway through, you want to just pull out the drawer and shake it up. That way everything gets nicely cooked. Also, you don't want to use any wax paper because that can melt in your air fryer, so just be cautious. And you do have a lot of hot air that comes out of the back of the air fryer. So depending on your kitchen setup, you may just want to pull away from the wall. That way air can disperse appropriately. All right, So finally, I know I have sounded like a bit of a commercial, but I have really enjoyed my time experimenting with this little device. And I love how easy it is. And you can make some really great food options that taste like restaurant quality, but right from your own kitchen, which is a win-win. So lots of fun things and minimal mess. And I don't have to worry about turning my oven on. I love to do roasted vegetables, but now it's getting warmer. I don't want to heat up my kitchen. So I can just throw my frozen veggies in, fix it, and forget it. This is also really great for kids. I know we're all home right now with all of our loved ones. It's really great for kids to make a meal if they have supervision or they're comfortable using it, or you can easily heat up leftovers and have a wonderful, nice, fresh meal. So many, many reasons to love it. All right, so let's finish up. So I do want to highlight what the nutritionist team is doing at Giant. Right now, we are in our Healthy at Home challenge, and each week we have a challenge for our customers. And this week is to try a new fruit and veggie. So this is a wonderful week to try out a new fruit or veggie in your air fryer, see what kind of fun things you can come up with, and be active for 30 minutes a day. So whatever you love, mowing the lawn, planting flowers, we want you to get active. And then we want to know what you're doing. So share online, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, what you're doing to stay healthy. So we want to give a shout out to some of our customers that we've seen in the last couple of days, people being active and healthy and having wonderful meals and really trying to be as healthy as they can be at home. So definitely share what you're doing and tag us at Giant Food and hashtag healthy at home and hashtag Giant Food Challenge. So definitely, if you get your air fryer out at home or decide to buy one, tag us and tell us what you're doing. We're excited to hear it. All right, so, and then lastly, just a reminder, all the nutrition services that are available at Giant, our nutritionist team is here for consults. We've got so many classes going online. And of course, our podcast. And you can find all of these at giantfood.com/nutrition, and we will definitely be able to help you out. All right, so let's get to some questions. All right, let's see what we have here. All right. What is the brand of the smallest air fryer that you recommend? That's actually a really good question. The one that I have is called a Chef Man, and there are so many different varieties out there. You name it, Ninja. There's Emeril Lagasse makes his own. There are so many. So I would definitely recommend checking out the Consumer Reports or America's Test Kitchen to see which ones they recommend. They look at them based on price, efficiency, size, and that way you can find one that works for you. How do you make popcorn in the air fryer? So you just want to put those kernels in, and you could actually coat them in just a little bit of oil if you wanted to, and then you just want to pop it in your air fryer. And you can check out, there are different recipes. Usually the temperature would be about 275, 300. Just want to watch it for about 5 or 10 minutes. Pull out the tray to make sure everything's popping. And once all those kernels are popped, you're good to go. All right. Are there Giant recipes for air fryers? Yes. If you visit giantfood.com and click our Savory Magazine link, there are many recipes that are featured using the air fryer. So lots of fun things to get your creativity going while we're cooking at home during a social distancing. All right. And last question, are there any recipes for one-pot type meals for the air fryer? You know, definitely do some research, do some Googling. With an air fryer, you can only cook a little bit at a time. So if you have a larger air fryer, you might be able to put some vegetables and meat in different sections. That way there's enough airflow. For my air fryer, I wouldn't be able to do a one-pot meal because there's not enough room. So definitely do some research. I'm sure there are wonderful recipes out there, but depending on the size, it may vary a little bit. All right, well, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to us at nutrition@giantfood.com. All right, thanks guys, have a great day.